On July 3, 2025, at exactly 4:15 a.m., the silence above Al Dhafra Air Base in the United Arab Emirates was shattered, not by sirens, but by fire. A swarm of 21 Iranian UAVs, including 10 advanced Shahed 238 models, penetrated U.S.-controlled airspace. They moved like shadows, ghosts in the radar gaps, vanishing for a crucial 12 seconds, thanks to upgraded AI-based evasion software and short-term radar stealth coding. In that brief window, they slipped past America's first line of defense. And then came the strike. Fuel tank Aero 3B, a 312,000-barrel storage unit, took a direct hit. The impact unleashed a fireball that rose over 300 feet into the night sky. The blast incinerated two M1 Abrams tanks, ignited a chain reaction of explosions, and vaporized over 1.66 million barrels of refined JP-8 jet fuel. The firestorm engulfed fuel trucks, crippled nearby infrastructure, and disabled armored assets within 80 yards of the epicenter. Steel melted, pressure waves tore through command tents. The temperature at the core, an estimated 10,000 Fahrenheit. 5 U.S. personnel were injured, including 2 airmen who sustained second-degree burns. Fire suppression teams fought for over 3 hours to contain the inferno. By sunrise, $890 million in damage had been done, and not just to steel and fuel. It was a strategic and psychological blow to CENTCOM. At 6 a.m., DEFCON 3 was declared across all CENTCOM forces in the region. Within hours, satellite footage, intercepted comms, and infrared drone footage circulated behind closed doors in D.C. The imagery was chilling. Mangled tanks, scorched tarmac, and the unmistakable signature of Iranian drone tech. But perhaps most alarming of all, there was no warning, and no interceptors were launched in time. Iran had achieved the unthinkable, not just a drone strike, a successful surprise attack on the world's most heavily monitored region. This wasn't symbolic. This was strategic, a direct disruption of U.S. military fuel logistics in the Middle East. It was war by algorithm, stealth, and timing, and the U.S. would not let it stand. The counterstrike, July 5, 2025. At 2 a.m., Operation Desert Flash was greenlit beneath the Pentagon in a classified war room briefing. No media statements, no pre-warning, just a single directive: respond with overwhelming force. By 2:30 a.m., from the depths of the Arabian Sea, a Virginia-class submarine and the USS Curtis Wilbur, DDG-54, launched 28 Tomahawk Block 5 cruise missiles toward Iran's Shahed Karimi Air Base, located 790 miles away in Yazd province. At the exact same moment, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, stationed 96 nautical miles off the Strait of Hormuz, deployed Carrier Strike Package Alpha. 12 FA-18E Super Hornets roared into the sky, supported by 4 EA-18G Growlers, specialized for electronic warfare and SEAD, suppression of enemy air defenses. At 3 a.m., the missiles struck. First, the radar towers. Then, 6 massive fuel bunkers, 3 UAV launch pads, and a key cyber command node believed to coordinate IRGC drone activity. Infrared footage captured cascading secondary explosions as fuel stores and munitions cooked off under extreme heat. Then came the Super Hornets. Within 17 minutes, they dropped GBU-32 JDAMs, destroying 2 fortified drone hangars and eliminating at least 12 Shahed UAVs still on the ground. The Growlers neutralized Iran's Khordad-15 air defense systems, rendering the base completely blind. IRGC radio traffic went silent. Emergency broadcasts reported 14 Iranian personnel dead, including 2 senior drone engineers. By the time the U.S. aircraft returned to the Eisenhower, the base was a smoking crater. Satellite imagery confirmed it. Shahed Karimi had been reduced to 30% functionality, a devastating blow to Iran's drone command infrastructure. But the battle wasn't over. Iran's retaliation, July 5th, 4 p.m. 12 hours later, Tehran struck back. 5 Fateh 110 medium-range ballistic missiles launched from Iran's southwestern quadrant. Range, 185 miles. Payload, 1,500 pounds each. Their target, Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, the central hub of U.S. aerial operations in the Gulf. Al Udeid's defenses activated within seconds. Patriot PAC-3 batteries intercepted 2 missiles. C-rams tore through the air at 4,500 rounds per minute. A third Fateh was shot down by an SM-6 interceptor from the nearby USS Carney, but 2 missiles got through. One cratered a runway section, disrupting sortie operations. The other hit a fuel depot, setting off a blaze that injured 7 American contractors and temporarily disabled 2 F-15 maintenance hangars. Ammunition stores nearby were narrowly spared. Iran had made its point. This wasn't over. Escalation across the region. Within hours, Israel raised its defense level to DEFCON 2. Saudi Arabia opened its airspace for unrestricted U.S. aircraft movement. British Type 45 destroyers in the Gulf of Oman moved to full combat readiness, activating Sea Viper missile systems. The energy markets convulsed. Crude surged past 110 barrel, the highest since 2022. Oil tankers rerouted. Global alarms rang. The UN Security Council convened an emergency session. Russia and China condemned the U.S. strike, calling it destabilizing. Washington stood firm, calling the operation defensive and necessary. Aftermath and repositioning. Shahid Karimi was destroyed, but Iran's program was not. Intercepted NSA signals revealed IRGC scrambling to move UAV production to an underground complex near Tabriz. Engineers were working 24/7. Timelines were delayed by 4 to 6 weeks. Supplies were rerouted. Punishments were handed down internally. Morale was shaken. But the U.S. wasn't finished. As part of Operation Fortified Gulf, the U.S. repositioned with the largest military surge in the region since 2003. USS Theodore Roosevelt and its carrier group entered the Gulf of Oman. THAAD missile defense systems were deployed to Bahrain and the UAE. Cyber Command activated quantum shield protocols after a 300% spike in attempted attacks. B-1B Lancers from Diego Garcia were placed on rotating 6-hour alert patrols. The Pentagon allocated an emergency $3.2 billion to harden fuel and energy infrastructure in CENTCOM's area of operations. Final message. America's logistics had been hit, but the world learned one thing. The response was not optional. It was inevitable. When fuel burns, when steel melts, when silence breaks, America answers, and the doctrine is clear. Attack U.S. infrastructure and expect fire in return. This confrontation redrew strategic lines, tested deterrence, and reshaped drone warfare as we know it. But this was just the beginning.